Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most pivotal and tragic chapters of history, the rise and fall of the Nazi Party. From their inception in 1919 to their reign of terror under Adolf Hitler, this movement would leave an indelible mark on the world. But how did this party rise to such power, and what impact did it have on the world? Let's unpack this dark history. It all started in 1919, just after Germany's defeat in World War I. A devastated nation, burdened with economic hardship, political instability, and the weight of the Treaty of Versailles, was searching for answers. Enter Adolf Hitler, a disgruntled war veteran who joined a small political group known as the German Workers' Party. This group, founded by Anton Drexler and Karl Harrer, was driven by a strong sense of German nationalism, anti-Semitism, and dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty had imposed harsh reparations on Germany, and many Germans, including Hitler, believed the peace settlement was unjust. Hitler's fiery speeches blaming Jews, Marxists, and communists for Germany's troubles quickly gained traction. By 1921, he had taken control of the party, renaming it the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or what we now know as the Nazi Party. In 1923, Hitler attempted to overthrow the Bavarian government in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. While the coup failed and Hitler was arrested, it gave him national exposure. During his prison sentence, he wrote his infamous political manifesto, Mein Kampf, laying out his vision for Germany and the world, one centered around an Aryan master race and the exclusion of Jews and other groups deemed undesirable. The economic turmoil of the late 1920s and early 1930s played into the Nazis' hands. The global Great Depression hit Germany hard, leading to high unemployment and civil unrest. The Nazi Party capitalized on the chaos, positioning themselves as the party of change. They promised a solution to Germany's economic woes, advocating for a total revolution in society, driven by the exclusion of Jews and communists. By 1932, the Nazi Party had become the largest party in the German Reichstag, securing 230 seats. A year later, in January 1933, Hitler was appointed chancellor. And from there, the Nazi Party seized absolute control over Germany. They banned all other political parties, suppressed the media, and used violence and fear to maintain their hold on power. Once in power, Hitler focused on dismantling the Treaty of Versailles. He began by rearming Germany, violating the treaty's restrictions, and withdrawing from the League of Nations in 1933. He also aimed to expand Germany's territory, believing the country needed living space for its growing population. In 1938, Hitler annexed Austria and later demanded the Sudetenland, parts of Czechoslovakia, claiming that these regions were filled with ethnic Germans. But the true turning point came in 1939, when Germany invaded Poland, sparking World War II. Britain and France declared war on Germany, and the world was plunged into the most devastating conflict in human history. While the war raged on, the Nazi Party's most horrific atrocity was unfolding: the Holocaust. Initially, Jews were discriminated against and persecuted in Germany. But as the Nazis conquered Europe, they implemented the final solution, a plan to systematically exterminate Jews and other groups they deemed undesirable. Millions of Jews were murdered in concentration camps, ghettos, and mass executions. The Nazis also targeted political dissidents, Roma, disabled individuals, and LGBTQ+ people. By the end of the war, over 6 million Jews had been killed, along with countless others. By 1944, Germany's war efforts were faltering. The Allies had invaded Normandy, and the Soviet Union had pushed back on the Eastern Front. With defeat looming, Hitler's grip on power began to slip. In April 1945, with Soviet forces closing in on Berlin, Hitler committed suicide in his underground bunker. In the final months of the war, the Nazi regime crumbled. After the war ended in 1945, the Allies took control of Germany and began the process of denazification. The Nuremberg trials, held from 1945 to 1949, prosecuted key Nazi officials for war crimes, including the architects of the Holocaust. Although many of the most infamous leaders, including Hitler, were dead, the trials sought to bring justice to the victims of the regime. The legacy of the Nazi Party is still felt today. From the horrors of the Holocaust to the lessons of unchecked power, The rise of the Nazi Party serves as a cautionary tale of what can happen when a society allows extremism and hate to flourish unchecked. The post-war world saw the creation of international human rights laws and institutions like the United Nations to ensure that such atrocities would never happen again. But the shadow of Nazi ideology still exists, manifesting in far-right movements around the world. In today's world, the lessons from Nazi Germany are more crucial than ever. As global political landscapes shift and rise in populism and nationalism, we must remain vigilant against the forces of hate and division. Education about this dark period in history is essential, not only to remember the victims, but also to prevent history from repeating itself. In conclusion, the Nazi Party's rise and fall is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and hatred. It's crucial that we study this period, reflect on its devastating consequences, and continue to educate future generations about the horrors that can arise when extremism takes hold. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue to learn from the past to create a better future. See you in the next video.